Hello, I am back this time with some bird poop. I am 5.5 years on testosterone and I wanted to make an update video, but it's not been going on so much testosterone wise. I've just kept growing up, but I'm going to go through like head to toe changes pretty quick. There's not much to say. Why I have also waited for so long to make this video is the way I take testosterone and the testosterone effect on me mentally and the correlation between testosterone and depression. I have struggled with that and I'm going to tell you all about it, and that's what this video is really about. But if you're not interested in the whole story, the way I've taken testosterone is with injections. The spike and low, and then after 12 weeks get a new one. That drop just really messes with my head and makes me so depressed. Just a heads up, if you experience the same thing or are starting testosterone, like keep that in mind, that could be something you experience. I am very prone to depression, so that's kind of it. Parts of the whole story is pretty funny, so feel free to watch. But head to toe, let's go. I don't know hairline, but yeah, this is how it is. This is how it was before.
Jag fattar inte grejen med
I wouldn't have dysphoria about my lips, or like I would think they were too big. Now I don't know, I really like my face. Also, I got some facial hair that I keep. Proof that I'm maybe a little bit ginger. I don't know. But yeah, I kind of like it. I shave on the sides here. I don't know. It's not something great, but it's something. I've been shaving every day for like 5.5 years, and just now, like the last month or so, I kind of tried not to. And also, like going to Australia, I grew my hair, which I've wanted to do for so long, but that's something that maybe I wasn't comfortable doing before. But now I'm like, I don't think about feminine, masculine, you know, I just am me. Hips and curve wise, it is getting better. You can make an illusion with growing bigger on your upper body to like, you know, but I think just it takes time for your butt. But I think that's it. And also mental changes just before I go. I think feelings, like feeling feelings is kind of harder before. I don't know if it's like growing up or testosterone, but I don't cry. It's really hard for me to cry. But yeah, I will talk more and answer questions in my next video. And until then, this is the story, my testosterone story. I will tell you all about it, but first, big shout out to testosterone, like it saved my life. The first year of testosterone, I was on like a child medication, uploading dose, I don't know. I was 17, before 18, you were given a small dose that steadily increased once a month. And then I was told I would go on adult testosterone amount. That would be like more steady. I would take that every 3 months and that would be normal. That's what they told me. But anyway, so my experience with that, I would feel really good the first 2 weeks, and then like 2 weeks before the new injection, I will get empty, and that feeling got worse and worse. And I talked to my brother about it. I was like, I feel very sad, like I don't know what's going on. And he was like, oh my god, that makes sense. When you have a high amount of testosterone in your body and it goes down, like that drop makes you depressed, just physically. That's his words, and it made sense to me. For my next injection, I don't know if it was the 4th, 5th, I don't remember, but I get there and she's as usual asking me how I'm feeling, and I'm like, I don't feel so good. And I explained to her that I just feel so down and empty. She was like, okay, no worries, we'll just try to take half of it. Instead of every 4 weeks, we do it every 2 weeks, so we just cut the lows out, and it worked. The rest of that year I had no trouble, and then I was put on adult injections, and as I told you, what they told me, it would be so much more steady. I believe them, and I don't think I had a reason not to, and I don't think you have a reason to not trust the doctors. Like, I'm not trying to, I'm just, because, okay, so 4.5-ish years ago, I started with these injections. And let me tell you, like, I've been freaking sad. And periods, like the worst periods of my life, that was not supposed to happen. I was on the medication I need for my dysphoria, but I would always come back to the lows because I was told it had nothing to do with testosterone. I didn't think about it. But then I started to think about it, logging how I felt and compare that to the testosterone injections. I was in therapy in and out as well, but it felt like it was impossible for me to not be depressed when I was. And then I would not be it anymore and everything would be great, and then I would crash down again. So I wrote to my doctor and I was like, I think, you know, it has something to do with the testosterone. I've been logging and I feel empty. Maybe, I don't know, 6 of the 12 weeks. The day I got the injection, I wouldn't feel better because it would like take longer for it to like absorb or start to absorb. Before they had been so clear, like the 2 week, but this was like slower and again, not on my mind. And it was a lot, you know, as I said, going on. I didn't think about antidepressants as well because I knew that I could be happy. I just wanted to talk to the doctor anyway. It's hard to stand up for yourself when you're depressed. And I sat there and my first appointment with the doctor, who, by the way, forgot me his whole first year on me being on the adult injections. He was like, oh, I didn't know you still lived in Sweden. I was like, yeah. And I was like, I think, you know, this is what I'm experiencing. Like, I don't know. He was like, that is completely impossible. You're the only one who's ever said anything about this. No one else has ever expressed any concerns with taking testosterone this way. You would be the only one in world's history, basically. Just rambling on how, you know, and he was drawing on his paper, like, while I was talking to him. I was like, dude, why are you doing a freaking painting right now? So he was like, but anyway, I can talk to my colleagues about it. I was like, okay, you're the best. And I got a message, I think the day after or something. I've talked with the team and we can do the injections every 6 weeks instead of 12. I don't know if he realized or if his boss were like, you're an ass, like this person is expressing dark stuff, man. But yeah, anyway, so I started taking the testosterone every 6 weeks. I think it took me a while to even get that first appointment, because then also you have to wait another 3 months for you to like take the testosterone every 6 weeks. It was like it took a long time for this, but I started doing that and I wanted it to be better, but I continued to log how I, you know, depression wise. And I actually found a psychologist who was really helpful for me, so I had like a longer contact with that person, and he was interested because I told him in the beginning I was trans. He was interested in how much I took, and I told him, and he, as a psychologist, said something interesting. He was like, that is not so much. Now, I have, you know, I'm not gonna spoil what I think, but I don't like agree with that. I think they inject too much testosterone. They should do less and more often. But from like a psychology point, like he just knows, he's studied the mental. So it was just interesting when he just mentioned that. And he asked me like how much I weighed and stuff. And that's also weird because you get the same amount, but like I weigh kind of a lot, and someone who's maybe shorter, or you know, the opposite, like of course that matters, but we just get like, it's one way, you know, it's this way here in Sweden. I told you about the appointment with the doctor, and then he like talked to the team. So before that, he asked me to do like a blood test before my injection to see where the level is. I think when we met after, he was like, yeah, you have high testosterone, like I think you should take new injection instead of every 12 weeks, every 13 weeks. He didn't even meet me to say it. He said it like on a message. I saw it on my phone. He changed my prescription. I was like, do you want to add 1 more week of the lowest I am? I was like, you're not getting it. So I think after that, I was like trying to get the appointment, and then I did, and then I met him, and then that happened that I told you about. I would take it every 13 weeks apparently, but I kind of didn't do that. What I also started to notice, being away and being more free with when I took my new injections. I'm not recommending this, by the way, but that's what I did. I noticed that, you know, after the injection, I will get really emotional. It was just too much. Like I felt so hyped, and then I would get low. And when I got low, maybe the last year or so, I didn't get depressed in the same way. I was like, and maybe because that's, you know, older, other life situation. For example, like sex drive is something really testosterone, yeah, something I feel. And just emotions generally. But that would be really, you know, that would kind of wear off, and I would be fine, but I would be kind of, I just felt low. And that's not a bad thing, especially because I have a tendency to like obsess and being hyperactive and stuff like that. So I almost enjoyed the lows. Like that's a change. Maybe the last year or so, I've like enjoyed the low. So I didn't kind of want to take the new injection to be like super feeling it. So I would like wait, and then I would take, yeah, that's what I did. I felt like maybe I could wait 2 or 3 weeks, but if I waited more, I would get like I would feel too low. So then I took the injection. I just wanted it to be stable. It's not that I want much testosterone. I felt so misinterpreted by my doctor. Like he was like, no, you have high levels, you know, even before the new injection. But I was like, yeah, but imagine how high it is before. Like I just want it to be like a steady line. I can't manage because like I'm very prone to depression. If you've had one depression, you're more likely to have another one, and it just goes like that because patterns and just brain wiring. Being depressed actually changes your brain, like slows down and deactivates. I think also in a way like Australia kind of fixed my brain in a bit. Anyway, I got back home here in Sweden and I was like, I'm not having it, you know, because I talked to my brother about that I still experience these highs and lows and I don't know what to do. And we looked more like at what type of testosterone I'm taking, how much and how often, and he was surprised. Before, I've just talked to him like when I started, and that was like in the total beginning. Now when I said to him, yeah, I take 1 gram in my butt like every 12 weeks, he was like, wait, what the heck? When you use it as a performance enhancing drug, you're supposed to take it 1 or 2 times a week. I was like, well, I could just buy my own needles and start to inject myself. I think people do that in the US, but like not here in Sweden. Like I always go to a doctor, but I didn't want to do something I'm not allowed to, and maybe it's not the smartest thing without, you know, giving it a last go. So yeah, I booked an appointment and I was like, I'm still struggling. I want to find a way to take testosterone as often as possible, to make it as even as possible, because this is not working. At the appointment, he was like, okay, tell me how you feel. Drawing a little bit, look, this is the painting that I drew the last time. Yeah, so he was like, yeah, so we have another way of taking testosterone. It's a gel you take every day. So I was like, okay, heck yeah, let's do it. So this is what I'm currently on. I take the gel every day on my inner thighs, or you can take it here as well. I mean, I'm not hugging people, but if you would like give it to them. And I don't have pets, so that's good because I mean, it's so much testosterone. He recommended 2 pumps of this every day, and that is 50 milligrams, and the man produces like 6 to 7. I asked my doctor like, how much of this do I absorb? He was like, everything. Do I need to shower after, or like for how long does it like get to other people? He was like, I don't know. So yeah, he's very good. No, but yeah, so I do a little bit of DIY, but I take 1 pump, so half. I mean, that's a lot, but I mean, I am feeling great. Honestly, like, this has been magical. I didn't know I could feel this way. Like, honestly, it's not that I'm so happy, but it's like, I'm stable, finally. I'm not the high, like, I'm just experiencing a life, I feel like. The highs and lows with that. Not like the highs of lows of like manic depression. And this is not everyone's experience. I've talked with a few friends who's on testosterone. I mean, some of them are on antidepressants, and I mean, you can read on the label side effect of testosterone they write is depression. And yeah, but like, it's about the way you take testosterone. And again, if you're prone to depression, I think, I mean, of course you're sensitive to brain chemicals going up and down, and hormones especially. It's so obvious. But I feel like it's been such a long road here, and I'm sorry if this was a long, boring video, and maybe not the testosterone update you expected or maybe want, but I've made like changes, updates before, so it's just more of the same, and also like continuing to like grow up. Not that I'm growing up, but you know, on paper. But yeah, I just feel like it's been so I don't know. I just, maybe if I watched this video, I could have done something sooner. And I don't think, you know, this video will be huge. It's long and boring, but maybe at least like maybe one person find this video and maybe they're like, this was my boring comeback. Thank you so much for watching, and I will definitely see you in the later video. Before testosterone, I've had periods when I just hated myself and being trans, but I've also had, you know, moments when I feel okay, and you know, that's when you feel supported and loved by other people. And then I get like lonely and isolate myself, and I get so fixated on this trans thing that I've just kind of digged my grave, and I felt shit. Maybe I sound ungrateful, but looking back, I thought testosterone would fix me. And during my transition, when I've experienced dark times, I always blame it on not being born a boy. I mean, everything would be easier. I mean, being trans isn't the lottery ticket in life you want, but you can make the best out of it. But I'm also here, like, in that state of mind because of my medical transition.